Hello and welcome to Let's Play with Russ Cantrell. Okay, I'm not going to do that. I am not going to be one of these annoying Twitch gaming streamers with the annoying voice. This is Russ Cantrell, and I am here to present a video of a video game, actually, that I've developed for the ISC Health Informatics class. This is going to be a quick little quiz game, quick as in 220 slides, but otherwise a quick little 20-question quiz game going over some basic HIPAA and high-tech security privacy questions. The first thing I needed, of course, was a quick little homage to the video game format with a press start graphic. This is maybe a little bit more Super Nintendo than NES. That's what's my, as you'll see in a minute, is my plan. I've got a nice little open source graphic here from somebody called Chroned Dragon. The title is not very creative, but I named it HIPAA Fantasy in homage to the Final Fantasy series of games. Truth be told, Dragon Quest is a much more direct inspiration here, as well as maybe some touches from Japanese virtual novel style games. But otherwise, I've got this nice Zelda-esque background, very pretty. Well, I kind of looked into finding this one. I tried to grab open source stuff to make it compliant, though anything that is trademarked, such as the something fantasy name, of course, is going to be covered under parody. Here we've got your opening scroll of text, the classic blue window in Final Fantasy format, some silly background story to get you into the mood of the game. For some reason, this is automatically scrolling rather than me going through with mouse click. I will double check that after. But otherwise, it's behaving as expected. First enemy is a rodent of unusual size. It's always the first quest in a video game is to kill rats in the sewer, or hamsters outside the city gate, rabbits, some small little task like that. It's a bit tropey, but aside from a subtle Princess Bride reference, it's just how games start. Okay, and despite only being a rat, he manages to ask you a question, because this is, above all, a quiz-type show. But we're starting off with something easy. What is HIPAA? And Acts of God, Larry the Axe Hennig. I'm being a little bit tongue-in-cheek here. If you get it wrong, you flash for some damage. If you get it right, you get this graphic here. And this is possibly something I should address. So to me and you as programmers, we know this is a sprite sheet. I didn't know exactly how would be best to present this. This is something that I would run by a client for their input on how they want it done. I could, and still might, to be honest, I could animate this as a GIF so that you would see the and then you'd see the damage accumulate. But since these enemies are defeated with one single piece of trivia knowledge, having it slowly animate didn't really make a lot of sense. Some animations are so subtle you wouldn't really notice a large difference between them. This is more a boss enemy that you would see at 75, 50, 25% health possibly. I thought about doing multiple slides where it's image 1, flash, image 2, flash, image 3, but that was just too repetitive, too flashy, too didn't really flow well. I just put it this way, so in the same way that you would see an image in a storybook, perhaps you would see the before and after something getting beat up as a still image rather than a nicely animated image. That is that's the goal, at least. I could always change that to something else, but that's what I am going with here. And of course, you get no experience points, but you gain valuable real-world experience, because that's the name of this game. And of course, the rat shrieks out the URL as a requirement of the game that we found the information at. I tried to be a little bit clever with some of these links to keep it from being quite so, I don't say immersion breaking, because this is definitely order of the stick level tongue-in-cheek parody here, but instead of it just being a footnote, I tried to work it into the narrative as best I was able. And here's a bat, enemy number 2. I grabbed a sprite sheet of 20 fantasy sprites from somebody with the username of Enzimuz. I'm using his open source graphics here, giving full credit where credit is due. And okay, high speed, high 5, high tech, high as a kite. Okay, you click high there, and okay, you're damaged. High speed, boom, you're damaged. High there, boom, you're damaged. So you know when you bam, you get hit. So that's I thought, again, this is not a stylistic choice. I thought about putting some biff, pow, boom kind of graphics, and maybe for the bat example, maybe that would have been humorous. I might go back and do that. But I didn't want to animate it too heavily. This isn't a big budget AAA modern day PS5 title. This is Dragon Warrior, free with your subscription to Nintendo Power. This is very a still sprite with a menu and graphics afterward. We click high tech, which is of course the correct answer here. Again, we went with the sprite sheet presented as is. I think it works well for the low graphic, low animation style game. Okay, here's a snake. Okay, you get it wrong, bam, you get hit. You get it right, you go on to the next boss. Well, not quite a boss yet. Here's a spider. Here's some jokes about venomous versus poisonous. I don't want to say I got bored because I enjoyed doing this project. I think it was a lot of fun doing it in a video game format, but it was tedious to link 20 different slides per enemy with all the different things. So I very quickly, here on what's this, slide number 30, I very quickly just descended into some inside jokes, internet references, some general goofiness to lighten the mood and keep things fun. I know that as a professor, you're probably a bit tedious you as well, going through 20 questions times 20 students. Okay, let's try to make it a little bit more interesting. Bam! Okay, you got hit, and that's not good. Okay, now that's a dead spider. Congratulations. And there's a pun that I felt bad even making. I actually groaned at that one. I would say it's an unintentional pun, but intend your puns. Don't be a coward. Here's a crab lobster monster. You successfully beat it. You turn it into crab soup. This is delicious. You recover some hit points. Hooray. Scorpion. Bam, you get hit. Successful, you kill a scorpion. I'm going through the options of all of them to make sure that the links work as expected. Bam, you get hit. Okay, now you beat the guy. All right. I thought about putting music and sound effects in here too. That's another stylistic choice. I had downloaded some MIDI chiptunes, very 8-bit reminiscent, but listening to that over and over was bad. It didn't persist through slides quite the way that I wanted to. Even just the Bayou Billy type sounds whenever you beat an enemy got a bit tedious after a while. So instead of searching for more open source video game sound effects, I just left it like this. I know that with web videos in general, whenever a presentation has audio, it very quickly becomes annoying, so I left it on silent. Again, another stylistic choice. Easily rectified if need be, but it works for what I'm doing here. And it may work if this were put live into a production environment. I wouldn't want 20 different people in a cubicle farm doing this and listening to at the same time. I think silent is definitely the way to go for a office version of a video game rather than an entertainment game. This is the end of stage 1, the nice peaceful grassy plains. Now you're approaching the dark and creepy forest of dark creepiness. And there's a slime. Here we go. You got damaged, and you successfully beat the guy. Let's go on to the next enemy. You do it wrong, you get hit. You do it right, you beat the guy. Here's where I'm starting to. I got tired of doing the. Oh, by the way, the monster happens to say something. So I'm trying to be a little bit more fun with it. casting bones is or throwing bones rather, is a very popular medieval scrying divination form. So, okay, let's go with that. Let's say that's how you got the link there. There's a demon tree thing. Bam, you took damage. Bam, you beat the guy. And now, gazing into the fire, seeing symbols in the smoke. Okay, that's a good way you can get some information. Having a vision of your student dorm room, the magical artifact that gives you information out of thin air. Okay, that was weird. Let me sober up. That's oh hey, this is a beholder, except not, because that is property and copyright of Wizards of the Coast, makers of Dungeons and Dragons. So this is a giant eyeball floaty thing, and bam, you take damage. And being a D&D monster, I had some very D&D text here. You do it the correct way, and okay, this is weird. I got some kind of weird anomaly. The text is going weird. My brain is damaged by his horrible psychic. Wow. Okay. Like some of the few animations I put in here, I'm decided to get creative at this point. This is slide 89, so I'm at the point where I wanted to do something more than just your straightforward click through. Trying to be kind of fun with it. Take damage. Do it right. All right, that one's working correctly. Now this is question 13. We're over halfway through now. Damage and successful answers go through correctly. And I needed a break at this point, so just to keep people entertained, trying to go for engagement here. I want to get some user engagement instead of it being a mind-numbing 20-question. We've all been through health strains, and after a while it gets a bit tedious. So I try to catch their attention by drawing them out of the game for a minute and trying to do something a little bit more non-expected, non-predictable. So hey, you're having a blast. I got a compliment. No, this sucks. I take it personally. Couldn't we done a different genre at least? Let's click that one because I wanted to be a little bit silly. And this is the throwback to. I very easily could have made this a dating sim. I'm very glad I went with the Dragon Warrior instead. But this is another idea that I had. I thought that might be a little bit too geeky even for a graduate level computer science course. I'm not going to go quite that geeky, but I'll use it for the butt of the joke. Now, instead of the edge of the forest, we're now in the deep center of the forest. Okay, we're surrounded by trees now. There's a monster. He asks a question. You take damage. You beat the dude. This one is kind of a trick question. I wanted to, again, kind of catch your attention with two good answers. Which one's the best answer? You take damage. You beat the guy. I'll even admit this one's kind of hard, but I wanted to really make people start thinking and not just try to click through the obvious expected answer. Plus, this is supposed to be one of the this is the third stage. This is the deeper part of the forest. So I wanted to make the questions a little bit tougher. To be truthful, I probably should have come up with the 20 questions first, ranked them by difficulty, and then use those to assign stages. The questions are a little bit haphazard, but we do have 20 questions. They are about HIPAA security. Okay, this is Charmander Goro of some kind. You take damage. See, I did do what I was talking about here. I was previously going to use a multiple flash effect to separate the damage sprites. I didn't do it because it was a bit annoying. Let's do it again. Yeah, that would be annoying to do 20 times in a row. That might give somebody a seizure if you're not careful. But for somebody with 4 arms, okay, again, it's good enough for the butt of a joke. You beat the dude. Okay, here's the Robot Man, which is a little out of place, but fantasy games always start with animals and then turn into monsters and then turn into giant space fleas from nowhere. This is where I started having a little bit more fun with diverging paths. Given enough time, I could make a complete tree of different paths, different choose your own adventure style format. Wasn't needed for the context of this game, but I wanted to give a big question with a couple of answers, not exactly a super clear answer, especially for the last ready for enemy and the third of the sub bosses. Let's make it a little bit tougher here. Password, you never should do that. You get zapped for 37 points of atomic space damage. Mother's maiden name, also terrible. Password, it's got a capital. That counts, right? It's technically complex. Nope, you still get zapped. Correct horse battery staple. If you are a webcomic fan, you will recognize this from XKCD, which I have linked here. And kind of an inside joke for anybody geeky enough to recognize exactly where it's from, with a link to the exact comic in question, which I'm not going to break the PowerPoint to go there, but you see from the reference, it's going to comic 936 of xkcd.com, which is very specifically a comic on password security. Okay, you leave it blank. No, that's terrible. This one I thought I would stump some people because this is the most secure of the text options, but it's a bad option because that exact phrase is lifted straight from a novel, H.P. Lovecraft specifically, and with this giant string of, I think, 50-something characters, the exact thing appears in the exact format so many times, it's basically a dictionary attack at that point. You can hit that as easily as anything else because after the first couple of characters, you recognize it's a Cthulhu chant. And there he is, all 8-bit pixelated, great old one, elder god, horrible monstrosity that looks like out your brain. Okay, let's back up here. This is a password that looks to be soccer related. I grabbed it from the actual article here. Change in text to signify that it's a robot. A couple of very minor stylistic changes, trying to use the very limited medium, the very limited format to my advantage. Okay, now we're in the absolute most corrupted, haunted, evil part of the forest. This one, I have a deliberate game over here, which I will not click, but I felt a little bit, I don't want to say unethical, but it felt a bit cheesy to have a game you always could win. So I wanted at least one bad end game over option. If you sit there and say, nope, I'm done with this, I don't care about security, security's not important, instant game over. But if you decide that the dark specter of HIPAA non-compliance must be defeated at all costs, you're still with us. Good. Okay. And we're about to have the big boss fight to end all big boss fights, so you always have to do a save point. You always know that the boss fight is coming specifically because you see a save point in the middle of nowhere. So that's the sign that it's about to get real. I also changed the format here slightly, that any incorrect options at this point will give you a game over, but it will, instead of the bad end from the previous slide, it will bounce you back to the save point because thankfully after that bad end you realize, hey, I need to save. Okay, and saving your work is very good to computer security in general. So let's go ahead and save. And okay, where were we? Setting the scene. Let's make it a little bit more dark and creepy. Let's go ahead and set the mood. Monster appears out of nowhere. Okay, let's get this one wrong. If we get this one wrong, you are dead, and that sucks. But I have a continue screen here. I didn't want to make it too difficult. But if you hit yes, you come back to the save point. If you hit no, it fast forwards you straight to the game over screen. Which we're going to get the good end. We're going to successfully save the day. I'm not going to show you the game over screen, but there is a game over screen which you can encounter if you screw up and you choose not to continue. Okay. His evil incantation to change into into his evolved form is web URL. Bam! Now he's casting 4 spells at the same time. He's just that bad. He's a bad hombre. The answer here is ARRA. That's good. You have not begun to witness my final form. Of course, all boss monsters have 3 forms, so questions 18, 19, and 20 are the same monster evolving into a even bigger, badder, creepier form. And I wanted to end on ethics because ethics is extremely important to me, and I would rather have an ethical question than another, hey, what year was HIPAA written? Uh, the most important thing is to do no harm. It's all about the patients. At the end of the day, question 20, everything else, do what's right for the patients. Don't harm the patients. You got to treat them right. Obeying the law is good. Avoiding penalties is good, but ultimately the best answer is you do not want to hurt the patient physically with bad treatment or financially by leaking his private information where his identity is compromised, or psychologically if you let everybody know that he's, I don't know, victim of sex abuse or substance abuse or a horrible disease or whatever else, letting that information be public. You do not want to harm the patient. That is the obvious correct answer. You beat the dude, and in fact, the magical spell you recite to seal him away forever is parts of the HIPAA oath where it reminds you will respect the privacy of your patients. You are treating the human being. You are trying to have a special obligation to society. And he disintegrates. He is sealed into darkness. And you win. So we go to the nice peaceful castle because the kingdom is saved. Everything is good. Everything is wonderful. A hero is you. This is where you get the don't do drugs, President seal of approval. Special thanks to all these random people. Even in the credits, I'm being a little bit tongue-in-cheek about the inspiration of the game. And hey, please don't sue me. This is protected, fair use parody work. But hopefully you enjoyed playing. And here we go. Let me close this out, and we will be done.